Uh-huh.
Hi everyone, I'm here with Simon Hill from Wazoku today, and we're going to be having a discussion about open innovation platforms and how to actually get idea management working in organizations. So, hi Simon.
Hey, you doing?
Good. So why don't you tell us a bit about yourself and your company?
Sure. My name is Simon Hill, and I'm the co-founder and chief exec of a company called Wazoku. We're an innovation management, idea management software company. That means that we provide licensed software to mostly medium enterprise, large global enterprise clients who are looking to, in some way, shape or form, make their innovation processes, make their ideation processes digital, make them social, and build some level of gamification, process, and other levels of insight and metrics into their innovation programs in an online capacity.
So this is what some people in the industry refer to as open innovation.
Yeah, open innovation would be a broad categorization of what we do, and open innovation gets bandied about a lot as a term. It is certainly one of the areas that we play in. Yeah.
Okay, so very quickly, for those of us who don't know about how idea management systems work, just give us a brief outline about why a company would do a project and how ideas are managed through a system like this.
Sure. So I think the easiest thing to do that is to contextualize a little bit with a couple of examples.
Sure.
One of the things that I was talking about this morning actually to one of the prospects we're talking to, and often one of the pushbacks we get is, why on earth would I want a platform that's going to give me more ideas? I have too many ideas already.
It's always too many ideas.
The last thing I need, Simon, is more ideas. And actually, they think that is kind of a rebuttal in some way, shape or form. Actually, it's kind of gold to us because that's what we want to hear. So the response to that is, of course, you don't need a simple platform to be able to capture ideas, although I think there is some value in actually just centralizing those ideas in one place. The reason for having an idea management or an innovation management platform goes way beyond all of that. It comes back to those things I was just speaking about, which is, in order to gather those ideas, in order to tell me, first of all, that you have too many ideas, you need to be able to tell me how many ideas you have. To bring them into one place becomes meaningful and useful for us to know and quantify that you have too many. However, the problem isn't too many. The real problem that you have as an organisation is not knowing which of those myriad of ideas to actually work on. And you end up spending time and money and effort working on ideas that are not going to go anywhere, and you'll still do those things if you have a platform in place, but you'll do it in a more informed, in a more collaborative, in a more engaged way. So from my world, what I'm talking about therefore is large businesses come to us with a specific business challenge quite often. Those things can be quite generic, they can be quite specific. So a good example might be, we're a utility business. We're looking to work to a future vision in 2020 of being a paperless office. How could we achieve that? We can run a campaign across their business, their smart people that work for them, their X thousands, tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of employees, and go and seek insight from that. In order to make that management process work, we want to first of all run quite simple campaigns. So an idea can be a little acorn of an idea. It doesn't need to be hugely complex in those early stages. We want lots of them because we want to be able to filter and sift and pan for the gold that exists within it. And that's where the management piece comes into this, to be able to use different tools and techniques in a software perspective, in a social perspective, simple things like likes and don't likes, through to more sophisticated review panels, pairwise voting, comparing A and B, B and C, A and C, as an example, and many other of the kind of more due diligence factors that you might need in an organisation, business casing and other things for ideas, to filter those through a process that any organisation can define for themselves, so flexible software, to at the end of it make more informed decisions as quickly as possible, and therefore have a truly optimised innovation funnel in your business. And that's where the software can come.
So you're saying that there's still some human element that needs to happen. You can't just automate idea management.
I wish we could. Really, ultimately, I think we've succeeded if we can help great idea A reach decision maker Y in the shortest time possible. And it doesn't matter, there's always going to be a human element to that, because ultimately in a business, somebody has to know that idea fits the strategy. They have to know that they've got budget and decision-making capabilities to enable idea to happen, and no software really should get in the way of that process. But if we can help idea A, B and C come together to form the beautiful halcyon solution that is the perfect strategic solution for business, fantastic. If we've got lots of little bits of incremental innovation that actually help to drive top or bottom line benefit for a business and get those ideas to market as quickly as possible, fantastic. And that's where a software comes in. Equally, being able to capture those things and keep them in a kind of corporate memory bank for ideas that may not be relevant now, but could be relevant in another 6, 12, 18 months' time, so they're not lost and constantly having to be reinvented, has huge value for an organisation as well.
What sort of response do employees usually give? Is everyone sort of super keen, or are there some people who are more engaged than others?
It'll vary from business to business, and I think it's important that we look at software as an enabler to the things that businesses are trying to achieve. So we can facilitate and enable businesses to make ideas, innovation, insights and engagement in the business more social and more participative and more collaborative. But if you don't embed that within the way that you're working as an organisation, then you will not get the benefits that you want to get out of it. And so what does that mean? It means thinking about this from a cultural element. It means thinking about it from a comms element and a HR element in terms of how you're recognising people and how you're rewarding people for participating in it. And that means it's got to be directed from quite high up in the organisation and have senior buy-in to it. Ultimately, if you don't drive outcomes, then people will not want to come to the party next time and share their insights, typically outside of their core business activities that they're already very busy doing. That said, so within that kind of context, we do want to, and this is software as a service. The beauty of it is that it's not a huge capex investment. You're not looking at you're not talking about spending hundreds of thousands or millions of pounds on something. You can frankly try it and see whether it works for you. And if it doesn't, and we'll do everything we can to make sure it does, then you've risked very little at the end of the day. The other side of this is it takes time. So, for us, a pilot is typically 12 months, and it's typically a series of different projects, and it involves us being effectively able to work with that organisation to position this and to communicate it out in a way that actually fits with the organisational strategy. Why are we doing this? Why is this important to us? And what are the outcomes that we're going to deliver? And therefore, what is the resource that we're committing to it? And if we don't have that from an organisation, we typically wouldn't want to do that engagement because, as I said, the software is just an enabler. You've got to put a lot of other things around it to make it effective.
Now, those of us in the industry who work with idea management and innovation management, there was a lot of buzz around systems like this, especially 1, 2, 3 years ago, when they were first coming onto the market. And a lot of companies sort of jumped on it straight away and tried it out, had a massive launch. And then the feedback since then is they've been a bit disappointed about what's happened after this big launch. So what's your experiences with your clients as far as keeping energy behind it? Does it happen organically, or are there certain things that companies need to consider before they try out a solution like this? So
I think I would say first of all that our experience in the market, and we work globally, although a lot of our clients have UK businesses and UK headquarters, is that actually lots of people don't have solutions and haven't got previous experience with this. So I would say that probably 25% of the businesses we work with have some level of experience, and the other 75 actually are doing this for the first time, probably making some of those mistakes that those that did it first time round did, but actually this is still a relatively immature market from a software perspective. Clearly we've been going out and gathering ideas and brainstorming and doing all the other wonderful things we do as innovation practitioners for eons and eons. From a software perspective, I think the technology now has come to a position where it is able to enable the things that it needs to enable. I think the first generation of platforms in the space necessity because of where technology was, because of where businesses were, because of where social business was as a thing. The first generation platforms were not as flexible. They were not as able to. They were trying to produce a one-size-fits-all in many cases, and anyone that does innovation knows that there's barely a one-size-fits-all for an organisation, let alone a one-size-fits-all for the global world of businesses. Equally, on top of that, these can't be standalone platforms. They need to be tied into the other things that you're doing as an organisation. From a how do you propagate and how do you disseminate the stuff that you're trying to do, i.e. how do you get engagements, through to how do you then go and build on the ideas, and does it fit with your SharePoint and your project management tools and the other things that you're using organizationally in the business once you've gone from seed idea through to project, through to delivery, and all those things need to sing and dance together. The other bit is that social now has become a bit more de facto in the world of enterprise. And so the concept of the social enterprise is now looking for how do we build social productivity into the things that we're doing, and clearly innovation is one of those areas. Collaboration is a de facto, social is a de facto. Now social collaborative participative innovation is becoming a new paradigm for businesses.
So what sort of things actually encourage people to participate? There's always certain people who have amazing ideas and want to share them, the real extroverts in the organization. But what about people who are a bit more reserved? Sometimes they need to have either an incentive or understand what the next steps after they submit their idea are going to be.
So there's a few elements to this, and I think technology plays a nice role in this because it's a little bit less personal. It actually, and it typically might encourage some of the people who are more comfortable in front of a computer than they are standing up above the parapet and actually voicing their opinion.
I mean, so you can speaking in front of the public is one of the scariest things for a lot of people.
Exactly, and so being able to do that in a slightly more private setting, and we've got great examples of health and safety workers who have come up with great media contributions that have gone on to have things aired and made in television format through one of our clients that would never have happened. How do you connect as a health and safety worker up in Scotland with the powerful commissioning body within a media business to have your idea turn into reality and be aired on television? Those worlds coming together are actually extraordinarily powerful. The other thing is that this is not a linear process. So you will have people that are really good at ideas and have good ideas, see something in the world around them that they want to share. Capturing that and having a home for that is hugely powerful. Beyond that, you'll have people that are really good at challenging those ideas and building on those ideas and diligencing those ideas and being able to actually use the expertise within your organization and learn who are your ideators and your innovators and who are the people that can come in at different parts of that process. Enables everyone to be part of it, and you can clearly set signposts where ideas are. So, in traditional forms, you would throw an idea into the ring. Who the hell knows what happens to it after that? It's
the old suggestion box.
Exactly, and even better than that, but it goes into the world of delivery. And if you're lucky, it might pop out at the end, and no one ever remembers who first suggested it. There's nothing in there. Just having that ability to clearly signpost that things are, or frankly, are not, and 90% of ideas are probably going to go nowhere because we don't have the time, capacity, or probably strategic, inclination to be able to deliver them. But be able to signpost that and give that feedback is as important as doing the ones that you can do.
Have you seen companies change their perception of accountability to actually look at ideas that have been submitted and, at a minimum, evaluate them differently than they were previously?
I think you have to. I think that's where having a piece of idea management software comes in. If you look at, I know that one of the big retailers we worked with did this by email to start with, and they got tens of thousands of ideas, and it took them 4 months and a consultancy team to sort through those things. You can do that in hours and days using an idea management platform, because we can do half the categorization for you. We can help you to bulk filter and feedback on things, and you don't have to go and take idea from suggestion from spreadsheets and go back and feedback to it. And that's just not going to happen, or if it does, it's going to cost you an obscene amounts of money. Being able to just do that, categorize things, look at where ideas have got commonalities and similarity and group them, all just makes this a much more efficient process for you as a business. And as I said, you can learn from it as well, so you don't lose those ideas. Who knows what happens to your Excel spreadsheet one in the second time that the retailer ran it before they had software to help them achieve it.
What about seeing the actual results on the business from an idea that you yourself have submitted? There's a lot of conflicting views out there right now about how you incentivize and reward someone to be more participative in helping drive innovation in the company. Have you seen either financial rewards work better, or recognition, or just the feeling of involvement that you get? What sort of things have either worked, or if you even know if some companies have tried things and they haven't worked?
So all of those examples you've given have been tried. You know, I've seen people pay small amounts of money for an idea. I've seen people pay large amounts of money for an approved idea. We've seen rewards and other such things. I think ultimately it comes down to two things. It comes down to organisational culture, and that's a very, very micro culture. So different departments, different types of people respond in different ways to different things. And trying to have a one-size-fits-all approach to it is tricky.
Even within a company.
Even within a company, exactly. The other point around this is, and it's linked to culture, is enfranchisement. So, you know, the best businesses, this is directed from the board and from the CEO, and people know that this is really important to the business, and they understand why it's important to the business, and people therefore they build that emotional attachment to this is, you know, it may not be part of my job, but it's part of me working for the company that I work with. And it's why I think that, yes, we're an idea management or an innovation management software company, but ultimately we play in the world of engagement. And that's engagement with company values, and it's engagement with people cross-functionally within the business. And ideas happen to be our objects that we engage around, but it's kind of irrelevant when you get back down to the people bit. So we've seen businesses, the best businesses I think that do this, understand the organisational values that they've got wrapped around it, and they have senior buy-in. And then the recognition is actually, you know, your idea. If your idea is successful, and these are typically, you know, bigger ideas, then the business will take it. They'll let you go through that idea with you. They'll give you recognition with it. You know, you will get you'll get recognised, and whether that means financially. And I think there is an argument to try and build innovation rewards into the way that we appraise people in their annual appraisals and everything. But you need software to be able to help you do that. You want to measure it, improve it. The other challenge is it takes a long time, and so, you know, we work with the BBC, right? And to produce a television show from idea here to production down here is 18 months, 2 years, if you're really lucky.
Yeah.
And the other bit is that your idea here and the outcome here are going to be worlds apart. Just because it started with that little acorn, it now looks totally different in terms of the thing that came out at the end of it. So being able to keep people engaged through that process is another, you know, ongoing challenge. I think therefore being able to signpost and come back and give people recognition, and we have things like ideas of the week. We have great ability to just come back and let people know, you know, if your idea is being worked on by famous scriptwriter X or by the CEO is currently reviewing it. Opportunities to pitch that idea to different people and get training and support that you may not have had before to teach you how to pitch your idea are all innovative, creative ways. Other businesses just plug these things into a reward platform. So, you know, we would integrate with tools that could say, you know, an idea is worth X points, and an approved idea is worth Y points. And if you get enough of those, then you may have enough, you know, plus all the other things you do in a business around incentivization, gamification, to reward you for a day extra holiday or whatever it might be. So there are different mechanisms for rewarding and incentivizing the behaviors that you want to have from the people that are in there.
And ultimately, what you're saying is senior buy-in is obviously vital for this to succeed in the long term. Is this senior buy-in from the vice president or chief innovation officer who's been told you need to go and sort out some new ideas for something, or does it really need to be driven right from the top of the organization, from the CEO level?
So look, I think there's different levels of complexity that you can build into this. If innovation is at the heart of the strategy that you've got as a business, then undeniably, and I don't think I'll be teaching anybody anything by this, it has to be driven from board level and CEO level down. It has to be lived and breathed, and you know, I think the guys that run the best programs in this in the world, and idea management, probably one of the first pioneering businesses in this space was Toyota. Toyota's internal scheme, and there's been books written about this that you can read about, has run for the past 50 years. They get over 1 million ideas a year through this thing. Every single one of their senior leadership team at some point in time in their career has run that as part of their global responsibility, and it is absolutely central and critical to the way that Toyota runs its business. I think that is the sort of, you know, the beacon of what's out there. It's core, it's strategic, and it's got complete senior buy-in because someone on that leadership team runs it every single year. It still gets 1 million ideas a year, and all of those ideas can be anything from saving a few cents and pence through to, you know, the future electric Toyota car, whatever it is that we're doing that, you know, that sends cars to the moon or whatever it might be doing next. But who knows, right?
Yeah.
It also depends where you're positioning innovation in your business. I was talking to someone this morning, and off camera you can't see there's there's a diagram on the wall here that talks about short to medium term innovation. So looking 9 months out, looking 5 years out, and then looking 10, 20 years out. And the different level of buy-in you need. One of those is more operational. You can get more operational managers, enable your middle management to be decision makers, budget holders, doers of the business as usual incremental innovation. Empower people at different levels of the organisation to think 2-5 years out on the way that they're doing and empower them to do those things. And then have the more structured, what the hell does this business look like in 10 years' time? Do we still do X, or actually now do we do Y as a business? And those are much different questions. You can use a platform to do all of those things, and frankly, you can not use a platform to do all of those things, but having the processes embedded are essential. Having that senior buy-in is critical.
Thanks, Simon. That's been really insightful.
Great, thanks Nick, good talking to you.
If you want to know anything else about Wazoku, check out the article below, and don't forget to subscribe to Improvides for all the latest insights on innovation and creativity. Cheers!